President Biden is showing a stark contrast in leadership compared to Donald Trump during the closing days of his administration. Let's take a moment to examine their actions, principles, and values. While President Biden continues to demonstrate integrity and a focus on policies that benefit working Americans, Donald Trump's recent rhetoric and actions reflect a fixation on grievances and divisive politics. President Biden's leadership and achievements. President Biden's focus has been on delivering tangible results for the American people. He recently stated, tax cuts for the wealthy didn't create opportunities for workers and families. Instead, factory towns were hollowed out and fewer Americans ended up better off. This perspective underpins his economic policies, which prioritize investing in jobs of the future, lowering costs, raising wages, and strengthening workers and small businesses. Biden's approach centers on supporting working families and the middle class, reflecting his core principle of bottom-up, middle-out economics. In an exclusive interview conducted in the Roosevelt Room of the White House, President Biden emphasized that his legacy is built on keeping his word and delivering on promises for hardworking Americans. He expressed gratitude during this holiday season, particularly for service members and veterans. It's been the honor of my life to lead you, serve you, care for you, and defend you, he said. President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden also continued their holiday tradition of visiting children at the National Children's Hospital to spread cheer and share a good book. Biden's administration has made significant progress in infrastructure development, a key component of his bipartisan infrastructure law. For example, the San Diego International Airport is undergoing a transformative project to replace Terminal 1 with a modern and efficient facility, enhancing transportation connectivity. Projects like the Portal North Bridge, a 2.44-mile railroad bridge along the Northeast Corridor, are also underway. These efforts aim to improve service reliability and capacity for rail travel between New Jersey and New York City, demonstrating Biden's commitment to bringing America's infrastructure into the 21st century. Judicial appointments and legislative achievements. President Biden's administration has successfully confirmed 235 federal judges, the largest number in a single term in nearly 50 years. This diverse and highly qualified group of judges, with approximately 60% being people of color, reflects the promise of America and will shape the nation's legal landscape for generations. Additionally, the Biden-Harris administration has finalized a rule to cap overdraft fees at as low as $5, a move aimed at providing financial relief to everyday Americans. The administration's efforts to ban assault weapons further illustrate Biden's commitment to public safety and responsible governance. Donald Trump's recent rhetoric. In stark contrast, Donald Trump's recent public appearances reveal a preoccupation with personal grievances and divisive narratives. At the American Fest conference in Phoenix, Trump's comments ranged from bizarre claims to outright falsehoods. For example, he lauded controversial figures like Representative Matt Gaetz and former cabinet picks with troubling histories. Trump's endorsement of individuals like Pete Hegseth, whose qualifications and past actions raise significant concerns, underscores his prioritization of loyalty over competence. Trump made unfounded claims about a 25% increase in childhood cancer rates, which contradicts actual data indicating a 6% increase. Despite this, his administration's record on pediatric cancer research funding is inconsistent with his purported concern. Similarly, his remarks about the Panama Canal, calling for its return to the U.S., were met with ridicule by the Panamanian government, highlighting his penchant for grandstanding without substance. Misleading narratives and cultural division. Trump's rhetoric on cultural issues continues to stoke division. He vowed to eliminate critical race theory and transgender insanity from schools, despite the fact that only 10 out of 510,000 NCAA athletes are transgender, illustrating the manufactured nature of these controversies. His fixation on cultural wedge issues detracts from addressing substantive policy matters affecting everyday Americans. Further, Trump's comments about running anti-drug advertisements as if they were a novel idea ignored decades of government campaigns like, "This is your brain on drugs." These remarks exemplify his habit of presenting long-standing practices as his own innovations. Contrast in values and vision. The differences between President Biden and Donald Trump could not be clearer. While Biden's administration focuses on improving the lives of Americans through infrastructure investments, judicial diversity, and economic policies aimed at equity, Trump's rhetoric and actions remain centered on grievance politics and self-promotion. President Biden's commitment to principles and values is evident in his policies and public statements. His administration's achievements, from infrastructure to judiciary appointments, reflect a vision of progress and inclusivity. By contrast, Trump's recent comments and behavior highlight a lack of substantive policy focus and a continued reliance on divisive and performative rhetoric. As we approach the end of President Biden's term, the American people have a clear choice: a leader who prioritizes results and integrity, or one who continues to sow discord for personal gain. The contrast in their approaches offers a compelling case for reflection on the kind of leadership America needs moving forward.